These are all ranunculus corms, soaked for about 2 hours. About doubled in their size. And then I've got spinach, lettuce, and spinach. And all of these peppers on our new racks we got this year. We need to get the fans going in here still. And then this is our third rack that we have going. Again, all peppers still. We'll see a couple of these still have quite a few extra. I'm letting them grow a little bit bigger before I transplant. Some of them I will actually be giving to some friends. These are all cayennes, ring of fires, picnics. You can see ace bell peppers, King Arthur's are bell peppers, early jalapenos. Let's see. Oh, Hebel ace. These are corms. So these have been soaked for about 2 hours in like room temperature water. And then I drained them off. Jay brought them down for me as I'm actually recovering from surgery. So I am not doing too much lifting, but I can sit here and kind of work at a table for about an hour or so before I get too tired. Dye should heal quickly. You can see all the peppers. We got these new racks. This company was going out of business in December, and Jay had found them. So the lights are fully adjustable and the shelves are as well. We've got these water trays. So you have about 300 peppers all potted up already, and that's going really well. And then you'll see the domes. I've got a heat mat here actually on part of my workstation. The domes here, we've got, I planted out or seeded lettuce and spinach in trays just for us to eat actually. We'll probably transplant some of those into the unheated hoop house pretty quickly, depending on how the temps continue. And my dad was helping a ton with all the transplanting as I sat here and he moved everything. But he helped prep all of these trays. So I have 13 trays for the 600 or so plus ranunculus. And so he just lined the bottom of the tray. The soil needs a little bit more moisture because he did prep this yesterday. I didn't get get down here to do that yesterday, but so I'm going to water these a little bit, add the corms. You can just kind of push the corms right in. This spacing on a 10-20 tray seems pretty good. That's what I did last year, and it worked pretty well. I'm a little ahead of last year. Last year I planted these on February 22nd and moved them out towards the end of March into the, actually mid-March I think I started hardening them off, the trays off, into the unheated hoop house. And then planted them into the ground, into the raised beds in the hoop house end of March. And these gave us, the blooms were at the very end of May. So my goal, being a few weeks earlier, or a couple weeks earlier, is to try to get that Mother's Day blooms. I'm not sure. I'm going to be a little bit cutting it close, but with recovery, things have been going a little slower. But these things are kind of wild looking corms. And I have lots of colors this year. So I was lucky. I was able to actually kind of almost split the order with another farmer that I know up in Vermont. And so when my dad headed back up home, he brought all their corms, 500 corms, to Honeyfields up in Vermont. And she's sending down a check, and it's a great deal for both of us because she had not been able to order the corms, and I was, but then I had way too many to plant for this year. So you'll see a cafe color, yellow, rose, salmon. The ones in the tray, these ones are gold. Let's see, pink, purple, rainbow is just a mixture, and flamenco, and white, I think, are all the colors. Somewhere around 11 colors, I believe. So these will go get a very thin layer of soil here. We want to make sure that no light can get into the corms. They want to be in darkness. And then these will get put out into our garage as soon as they start to sprout. So in another couple of days, we'll move them from in here, where it's about 70 degrees for the peppers and pretty humid, into our garage probably by Wednesday. It's Sunday today. And that garage is kept at 50 because that's where all our water systems are. So it's should be good. They should be ready to then be planted out and put into the greenhouse in about 2 to 3 weeks. If I'm actually on time with it, they'll get hardened off by then, and then planted very quickly after that in the tunnel. And then some of them will actually go outside if I can get to the ground. We'll see. They'll go out as soon as I can work the ground with a cloth or something over it. But that's what I'm doing today. I just thought some people have never seen these little mini spider corms before, almost crabs. So I thought that I'd share those. This is only my second year growing ranunculus, but last year I did have really good success in the high tunnel. I did not have as good of a success outside, so it's going to be really interesting to do more tests this year. It's always about learning what works for you in your climate and your microclimate and different areas of your yard, right? So I'm excited though to have so many colors. We'll be able to do full rainbow bouquets and maybe some really good Mother's Day ones. We did launch our subscriptions, so we have flower subscriptions available on our website now for this season. I did a pure ranunculus one, a mixed flower one, and then also a Lysianthus. So we're also upping the amount of Lizzies and colors we're doing this year. I'm really excited about. And so both of those are available now for order as part of our CSA type offerings. And that's also pretty exciting. But I thought I'd do a quick video to catch everybody up on what's going on. And hopefully I'll be up and moving a lot more soon. And from here we'll start fertilizing these peppers actually pretty quick. And then we still have a high tunnel to build this spring. It's actually a Gothic style tunnel, which will be about 48 feet long. And we've got to move a whole bunch of raised beds. We're buying some more of the Birdies Raised beds to go into the tunnel as well. and a lot more seeds to start here in the next few weeks when we start getting into tomato starting time. But I will keep you guys updated as best I can. You can always follow us on Instagram and Facebook. You might get a little bit more often updates and full YouTube videos. But thank you guys. I appreciate all the messages I've received. And let's be excited about all the things to come with all these wonderful colors. to use my dad's new toy for a couple months, and should help us with moving a bunch of stuff out to the greenhouse. We're moving ranunculus this morning. This is a brand new Can-Am. I don't know anything about it, but it's big and tall. Out here in the hoop house, we got the ranunculus moved out here. Or this is like less than a quarter of the ranunculus we have to get out, but at least we got some. We left the Lisianthus and the snapdragons, and of course the Johnny jump ups or pansies here. And they self-seeded everywhere, and they've actually bloomed the entire year. They haven't stopped all winter long. Over in this bed, again, we left a lot of things to see how the flowers would do, and we had a pretty mild winter. In the hoop house, I have a thermometer here that's got a little red button reset, and you can see it's only gotten down to about 20 degrees, and it's gotten up to just under 100 degrees. So it's definitely not been that cold. I think the coldest outdoor temp we got recorded on our weather station was something like 8 maybe degrees, but the soil temp has been staying pretty good in here. We didn't heat this at all this year, so that's been really fun to see what would actually last. Jay just helped do empty all the old grow bags that we had here. You can see we have a ton of worms already really active in here, but this opens up more space for more of the ranunculus that we need to bring out. Over here we did leave a couple of these grow bags with Lisianthus because they potentially may actually start becoming waking back up from being dormant. Lisianthus I think are zone 7, so we left all the lizzies here too, and you can see some of it still had a little green. They're pretty papery though. But the soil temp's what I care about, not the air. And they're kind of dried, dehydrated almost in here. Pretty gorgeous. Over on this side, feverfew. And we've got some kale left over. Snapdragons throughout this bed actually, but what I was interested to see was these are the ranunculus that I grew last year are all coming back. That I just didn't wait for them to die back. As soon as they were about done blooming, I started interplanting things into them, as you can see. Got some more giant pansies in the back there. Dusty Miller actually made it through, which is really amazing. In the eucalyptus we have, well, this one doesn't look very good, but a couple of these actually look really good, especially this one over here. I'm excited to see if I can actually get some really strong plants this year. I didn't take any cuttings last year of the eucalyptus. As always, I do leave onions so that we can have some early green onions. So these we can actually start eating. Maybe we'll make some scallion pancakes or something. But you'll see, I just let them kind of stay in the ground for the second year. They will bloom. They'll give me some nice, gorgeous, big allium balls of flowers that I can also use for cuttings. While it also gives us some of that early, fresh onion taste. There's more feverfew in the back. And the other ones that were right here, which I'm interested to see how they do, whether the now I'm blanking. Oh, larkspur. So they should have dropped their seed right in this area and potentially come back. So lots going on. A lot of snapdragons over here. A lot of strawberries too. They go everywhere. These lizzies, I'm not that's hopeful. They're pretty dry since we don't water in here and it gets so warm and so dry. I will try to get some watering done this week though. But some of these Lizzies look really good. See here. So it'd be really great to get some of these coming back this year on top of all the new colors I've ordered. It's about 48 degrees or so outside today, 45 maybe. It's about 47, 48 in here in our unheated tunnel. It is time to do some cleanup in here. So we just took some of the big snapdragons that were really leggy out in the aisle. We took those out. You can kind of see I broke some of these off. And we got a bunch of the ranunculus in here. This is roughly maybe a quarter or so of what we have planted this year or started this year. So I've got a lot more to bring back up. Some of it we're actually going to plant in the back here, I think, right in this bed once we add some more fresh compost on here and get some OMRI rated fertilizer and get that watered in. The soil's really dry in the hoop house right now, and that's really normal. And a lot of that is because it warms up and it gets so hot in here during the winter. The top temperature, this is what, March 2nd, I think. The top temperature on the soil level down here on the thermometer was up to 90 something degrees. And so you can imagine that everything really dries out. So we are going to have to start watering in here pretty consistently. Our average last frost outdoors would be somewhere around early mid-May. Last year we did have a very late freeze in the end of May, which did a number on a lot of people's stuff, including a little bit of ours. But this year it's really looking like the 10-day outlook is not that cold at all, and ranunculus are okay down to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. And since that's the low temp from the last 4 months, we should be up absolutely fine in here. I'm moving these out because it's really cloudy today. It's supposed to actually rain the rest of the day and the rest of the week. We will put frost cloth over these and try to get them acclimated. There won't be much wind in here, but we did have fans on them inside. But by doing it in the hoop house where we've got the 6 mil plastic and cloudy days, it makes it so I don't have to bring them in and out as much. And again, if it gets sunny by chance, we will come out and put the ag cloth over them, which will add another layer. So when you're doing such large quantities, it's really hard to be really careful about bringing them in after a couple hours, then bring them back out, bring them in like a normal home gardener. So this way is a little better. We did have some mice damage down in the basement, so you'll see a couple very sad ranunculus there. Probably not even savable at this point, so I may come back and plant some more. These are all planted by color right now, so that they'll be really easy for cuttings. I've got cleaned up a bunch of the grow bags. You can see we got a pile out here of things that didn't overwinter, or we had tried to do some more lettuces and things like that, which of course mice got into and ate everything, so we didn't get any. But this opens up a whole section for more of our ranunculus in crates, which will be great. A lot of things overwintered, which was really fantastic. This is going to be more cut flowers this year than veggies, though I will probably get some of our lettuce starts out here ASAP in order to get some really good spring mix going for us. I started some pansies, some giant pansies from seed. These are actually good for cuttings, which I'm really excited about. They're a little later than I want, but I do have some back here in this back corner also that overwintered. Feverfew, I've got kale, snapdragons. As always, I've got the onions sprinkled in from last season's onions, which will give us an opportunity to have early green onions as early as, probably 3 weeks ago. It looks like we could have been eating fresh green onions. Eucalyptus also. I wasn't sure if it would overwinter or not, but it's still nice and pliable. It's not dried out at all. And I've got a gorgeous one over here. that I'm really, really excited about, to see how, actually there's 2 there, but to see how they do. We've got some more here. You can see, kind of had sprinkled them in. Also, the ranunculus from last year are starting to appear here. So I had interplanted in once those had gone by, and I wasn't sure if they would come back or not. So far I've found about 7 or 8, and I haven't looked the whole thing over, so we'll see how that goes. I've got more feverfew in the back, snapdragons, like I said, all throughout. And I did leave these lisianthus in the back here, and there was a lupin somewhere back there. But the lisianthus should come back, or some of it should come back. Because it was so dry in here, it might have been too dry for them, but they should have gone dormant and had good potential to make it. So again, Lizzie's over here as well. And some of the Lizzies, actually have already, like this one is already doing some new growth here, which is really great. So we'll see what we get, but I would be fantastic if I was able to overwinter lisianthus in this tunnel. It'd be really exciting. I will have to fertilize these very quick here, because being in raised beds and everything, and overwintering without actual rain or snow melt, they will be very malnourished. So there's a potential, if I don't fertilize, that they would be not as strong and nice and tall as they were, as you can see the blooms were last year. It's kind of crazy looking back though, how many blooms I left. Like, how did I not cut these, right? It's amazing how many I actually left blooming in here. I guess I was probably done with them after. But this year I'm planting even more Lizzies, and we're gonna hopefully have a whole section out there that will be much more successful this year. A lot of lessons learned last year. So excited to see how that works. Coming out here, this is going to be really interesting because we are getting the new high tunnel. So these first 4 rows of raised beds all need to get moved, which is a lot. You can hear Jay, you might be able to see him down there. He's turning the compost pile. The Lizzie's here, I left just to see. I figured I could dig out any that actually came up. Here's more Lizzie's. So in another couple weeks or so, we'll know really which ones made it and which ones didn't. Most likely they all did not make it, but you never know. Same with these Lizzie's here. This back garden was the all different cuts. So this one will just get taken out. There are some snapdragons that I might be able to transplant out. It looks like some more feverfew has made it through. Whiskey barrels had delphiniums and a few other things that should make it through, so we'll probably just move those out. We may also put some of the ranunculus crates here, since the irrigation was all unplugged and drained, but we left the framework here, so this might be a really good spot to put some of these crates of ranunculus. And some onions I missed. I gotta pick up all the tags here. Over here we've got more feverfew, which will be good to pull up. They're all the bell peppers. These all are fine. They're not gonna come back at all or anything. This bed's pretty empty. And then we get to the spinach bed. This bed is not moving, so I did do a late batch of spinach, in September maybe, and so we had some great cuttings from it, and then I left it. And so in theory, this should actually start coming back out of dormancy in the next week or so, and hopefully I'll probably top this bed off and get this planted with radishes. And maybe this bed too, also with radishes, because there's not much more I'll be planting out here ahead of those. On the tunnel, the parsley we'll pull out. Snapdragons might just let them stay in here, but we will be replanting and cutting down and pulling out a few things as much as possible. I am trying to just do cutting at the soil level and letting the roots actually just feed the soil. So these were all zinnias here, and beans were on the tunnel, and squash and everything. So it's definitely the start of a new season, and with the rain coming for it looks like a week straight, it'll be really welcome. But we'll try to maybe get some stuff planted here real quick so that we should be off to the races with some early season stuff. If it gets way too cold, we can always cover. We've got all the hoops, we've got the frost cloth to try to help protect. And there's always the chance of a late snowstorm, or really not late, but a snowstorm in March. But I'm gonna risk it for the couple dollars of seeds it will take to get things going a little early. If I lose a couple dollars of seeds, it's not gonna break me. So that's where we're at over here. Over in the field garden, I checked the garlic. It looks like there was a small spot dug up. We have about 500 garlic planted out there. And some of the lizzies, the browns, I think there was browns, purple, so like a lavender maybe, and a peach maybe. Here, I have to look back in my last year's, but those with the oak leaves that we put on those, they seem to be doing really well. And we have to clean up this whole leach field garden, which is all the cuts there, and just go through. Some of it we'll just cut down, some of it we'll actually pull. And it's been a couple years, so we'll probably pull the plastic back, add some more compost on top of that, and then put the plastic back down again for this year. So our little station's like 55 out today, so it's amazing. So we opened the garage right up. Jay helped put the cardboard in. He's helping fill the pots, the crates with soil. We're just using a pro-mixed, nothing too fancy on these. We will add fertilizer though. And then we dump all the pro-mix in there, water it in. I just put some water in the bottom because we got a new bag we got to dump in here. And then we'll mix it up, get it all moist. Not too wet though, because ranunculus don't like wet feet. Then we will, from here, once the soil's in, then I have these corms in the trays that I'm splitting and getting ready. This tray I did over stuff, so there's like 45 or 50 gold ranunculus in this one. So that you can see they're definitely getting a little leggy. I need to get them outside. So then from here they'll go out into our hoop house with the frost cloth over them. So you've got the 6 mil plastic plus I think it's Ag. I think I'm using Ag 19 this year. I used Ag 15 last year and doubled it up, but Ag cloth will be lightly over them just to keep the sun from being too strong. It was supposed to be cloudy today, and not very cloudy. Pretty much all the snow's melted, and it's supposed to be cloudy again tomorrow. And we still have quite a bit left over here. That whole 10-foot table is full of ranunculus. I trimmed down all these lisianthus. Ranunculus in the back have already been hardened off with the frost cloth and shady days. So those are all set now. And the top table here should be all set now. But these down here, we just finally got out. It's way too late. You can see they're really leggy now. They were under grow lights, and then we moved them to the garage to transplant, and I just couldn't keep up with all of them. So they're finally out here. We've got the frost cloth here for tomorrow. It's supposed to be really sunny, and then it'll go back to raining again for the rest of like another week or so. So today's really cloudy. It's the afternoon. They don't need any frost cloth for the sun covering. And it's also about 57, 60 degrees at ground level right now. So they are absolutely fine. They're good down to about 20 degrees, 25 degrees Fahrenheit. So things are starting to wake up in here. The lizzies up here seem to have done the best. And then we've got feverfew and snapdragons and a few other things. So it's coming. We'll have a lot more color coming soon. Okay, so still making some slow progress, but I had my helper up here this past week, and she helped pull any lizzies from the raised beds that Jay has to move for the greenhouse that looked like they might have some viable roots, and we transplanted those. And then I did fertilize with Rejuvenate, which is an AEA product. It's OMRI rated, but so these Lisianthus flowers will hopefully all be coming back. It's a mixture of the outdoor lower beds that we had. So yellows, pinks, purples, peach or creams. I think were the most of the colors that we had out there. Still have totes that we need to fill for the ranunculus. We'll do more of that maybe tomorrow. We also pulled up any of the Johnny Jump Ups or violas and potted some of those up. Some of them are returning, some of them are self-seeded from last year, and so we have those. Here's my really leggy tomatoes. I'm really behind, but what I'll show you is I'm actually going to plant them in those deep pots. So in theory, the soil should come up to about here, and all of this little hair here, you can see it, all those hair should actually grow roots. I am going to add some of the BioCoat Gold into the things to also stimulate a little bit more root growth quicker. But the ones that I've already planted are good. I've got like 6 or 7 more trays, and this is probably the least full one. So this one here is Mountain Fresh for tomatoes. And then what I'm doing is we've got our bin with our, it's actually the salt scoop from Aubuchon, but here I've got a tray underneath. These are the dog crate trays, lining the 4-inch pots in the center, and then I use a scoop to fill all of these, and then I move these over to here, and then we'll fill all of these up, and then we'll start doing transplanting and get all the labels all written, and we'll transplant and move all of them back into the grow room. So we've got our hose link set up in our garage. We've got our whole watering system here off of our well, and so Jace set it up. So we needed to store the hose links anyways, and this has worked really, really well. We can actually pull this whole, it's an 82-foot one, through the garage to the other room in the grow room and do all the watering, so I'm not lugging jugs, which is really, really helpful right now as I'm still recovering from surgery. So this is kind of our production staging, trying to do all the, like as much soil as I can, then switching gears to labels, and then switching gears to transplanting, and then moving everything, and then come and do it again. And if I didn't say it, the Lisianthus will be brought out back outside, because that's already been out all winter long. So these will get probably moved into the tunnel for a little bit, and then as soon as we get out of these high 20s, then we will put them back outside and maybe on a table out there. So got a lot going. Probably have about 200 tomatoes to transplant today, maybe more. So wish me luck. Here's a look of what we have left, so you can see we got quite a few that are really lanky. 3 of these pots are big beef, and then there's Cherokee Carbons here, all very, very leggy, that we'll try to get planted up. All right, so here's, we got quite a bit of peppers. The lighting's kind of funky, so it changes the greens, but it's actually a pretty good, strong green here. So I moved all the tall peppers up to the top shelf. I need to lift this side back up a little bit, but basically trying to keep the ones that are growing a little faster on the same level so that we can have the light lower on the smaller peppers. Here's the tomatoes that I transplanted 2 days ago, maybe. And then here's the ones we just did. They're going to look really sad. We're going to fill up all of this space here, and then probably fill up some of the table as well. They're going to look really sad. We will water them, just straight water today on the bottom. And then in about 3-4 days, we'll do a fertilizer. the greenhouse this morning. So I was able to pull out and save a whole lot of plants. We've got, the most exciting was actually the eucalyptus. We've got like 4 or 5 of these. Tons of snapdragons. These ones I had seeded this year. Feverfew. Here and here, there's 2 different types of feverfew. And then a whole bunch of the pansies, or Jacob's ladder, or violas, or whatever you call them. And then a bunch of strawberries too that I might move to the green stock. And then onions. And we did have some Lizzies here. Let me see. Some of these I'm guessing won't make it, but here's a good example of one where the roots didn't look as amazing here, but then you look up and it was actually already starting to sprout new leaves for the season. So the violas, I'm going to pot these up actually. I'd sprinkled a whole lot of seeds last year in the late fall, and I'm going to pot these up and maybe offer a little Easter centerpiece or a little Easter flower for anyone local who wants to come get one. A couple different colors here. I've got a whole lot more still in this front bed. But the big thing today is to get these ranunculus planted and make sure I don't kill all the stuff here. But all of these is my goal this weekend. And so I thought I was going to have to take out a lot more soil because it looked really dry. And the tunnel tends to get really dry over the winter. And but just having Jay rake off the top sections seems like it's actually decent soil. We'll maybe do some additives, fertilizer in here, of course. I'll do an OMRI rated, organic rated fertilizer, and add some topsoil compost in, but it's actually looking pretty good. And then this side, a bunch of these little plants here are actually ranunculus that came back from last year. So I left those in there, and then I'm going to interplant the ranunculus that I started this year into the holes, and I need to like fill a couple holes from some of the plants that I took out. And Jay is working on playing with the tractor and testing and seeing if we can get the bed started to be moved for our big greenhouse project. So lots of different stuff going on finally. It is 80 degrees in the tunnel today. Pretty warm, so try to make sure I'm drinking a lot of liquids and take breaks because I'm still not actually fully cleared from surgery, so trying not to do too much. Hopefully get cleared this week. But these ranunculus are hurting, so I don't want to waste all that effort and work and money. So these ones are fine, and the ones in the crates, they're actually where they're going to be. We'll move them out from the tunnel here pretty quick. I think after about a week or 2 they'll get moved outside actually, under a frost cloth. Depending on how many I can actually really fit in these beds, probably this bed, I think I might just do all ranunculus. Depending on how well they fit, I may actually end up having to plant some out in the field garden, or the leach field garden, flower garden. So we'll see how many we can fit in this one 4 by, I think it's 8 bed here. I will keep you guys posted and update you later. So the greenhouse is going to be 48 by 26, and it's going to go right here where these 3 rows are, but because of the size we actually have to move the 4th row too. So almost the entire garden is getting uplifted so we can put this massive high tunnel here. And it's big for us, but small. A lot of greenhouses are 90 foot at large farms. So Jay's trying to rig up the beds to see if we can not have to take them all, dig them all up and take them all apart one by one, basically. And so he's dug down on the sides, put these like what is it, corner bar or whatever, metal down into the beds and then bolted them using the holes. And then he was trying to, then he set up his pallet so he could have longer lift on the fork arms. And he's ratcheting it, and we're gonna see how it goes. This is a 3046R John Deere tractor. I can't remember the exact lift capacity, but we've definitely tested the lift capacity a few times. So also the ground is mostly soft and thawed at this point, on the surface anyways, but the center of these beds actually may still be frozen. So the tall beds freeze quick and thaw quick. So like today it's, I don't know, it must be almost 60 maybe. It's 80 something in the greenhouse with the door open. So everything's thawed, but the other day I came out and it was 30 degrees in the morning, and it was not, everything was frozen on the top. So it's going to take some testing and probably a lot of time and patience on this one, but we really did not want to have to dig out every one of these beds here. The short ones will be much faster, but all 6 of those tall beds will definitely take some time. Watch that corner. There you go. And we did it. I didn't have to take it all out and spend all the time with all the bolts. Birdie's bed number 1 of 6 tall and 8 of the short. The short one we should be able to do no problem. But wow, that saved us actually quite a bit of time, and now that we have the rig set up. So these are all going to get moved around so that our large high tunnel will have a space. And we'll be able to use the tractor to scoop up the stuff. You'll see that there are the bolts. This is the older style Birdies are still through here. So this whole row here, this row here, and the super long Birdies, 4 of the 8 ones are all getting taken out so that our high tunnel can go. There are logs. When we originally put these together, we did do the lasagna hugelkultur. So this is, you can see the difference quality in the soil also. We used a cheaper soil with the logs at the very bottom, and then the 2/3 of it was the higher quality compost. And these have been, this is would have been our 4th season with them, I think. So 3rd or 4th season at this point. I can't even remember. So Jace is staging the compost and fill over there. Just a quick look at what's remaining of the logs. going to call it a day. Took a lot of breaks today to try to get through everything. But you'll see I was able to get the Lizzies back out from the basement. I still need to bring the snaps and stock out here, so hopefully I'll get that tomorrow. These are the trays that are left, and I'm hoping to get these into crates, and then I have the one more color to do at the very end there. I think I'm going to plant the extra feverfew right in here, because it did really well actually in the tunnel last year. It had nice, really long stems. So I've got that. I've got lupin to go plant in the perennial bed tomorrow. Got one more tray from before that Jay's going to move back in here. Just was a little crowded. Got 2 grow bags in here that I can plant the lettuce starts in here. Try to separate some of those and get those going. I was going to do this bed, but it's just too much work for me yet. So got quite a bit done. They look really sad, all those ranunculus, but it's been a sunnier day than I thought it was going to be. A little bit of clouds around lunchtime, but pretty sunny. And so it's definitely stayed about 75 degrees even at soil level, 75 degrees at soil level. And about 80, just finally starting to cool down, but 80-ish, about 6.5 feet up. So these will go into pots and crates. Hopefully I'll be able to get to do a bunch tomorrow, and then get the last little section planted in here tomorrow. And Jay's still making progress over here on the beds. And then I've got the project for this week down in the basement will be to actually pot these up into either maybe a combination of 4-packs in 4-inch pots, and maybe a couple planters for Easter, and see if we can maybe sell a few. Either way, they'll look really cute, and I needed to get them out of the garden there. And then here's the snaps. I've got lupin that I pulled out and feverfew that all needs to get planted back tomorrow, but we're going to just pull the little buggy back in the garage for the night so it'll be nice and cool, and then I will be able to pull that out tomorrow. So making slow progress, but it's coming along. Got more ranunculus down today than I thought I could, so making progress. And these are all the Lizzies we're trying to bring back to life. We'll see how they go. This is a poblano barren here. Look at these roots. See all those little hairs? This is a barren poblano. You see all the little hairs on the roots here? Pretty impressive root base here. This is seeded with BioCoat Gold. Nice, good, solid green. I do need to start pruning and see some suckers coming as well. And I'll also need to fertilize soon. Gotten asked about 4 times so far this year about if I top my peppers, and I don't. And here I'm going to show you why. So you can see on this ring of fire, which is a cayenne, I've pruned it, and you can see these little suckers growing in here. So I'll just kind of pick these off once they get a little bigger. And here you can see the remnants of a bud that I've already picked off, because what happens is once it gets to a certain height or growth stage, it will really want to produce fruit because that's what the plant's trying to do. So when it gets to this stage, it will put a bud for a fruit right at the top of the top of the plant. What I'll show you is here is one example where if I can do this well, I'll show you guys. Here's the bud. So what's going to happen is I'm going to pick this off, but either way, the plant's already doing a natural V, natural Y, or whatever you want to call it, split right at that stage. So I just come in here and pick off the bud here. That fell. And then you'll see that's what happened over here just at an earlier stage. So this is a King Arthur, it's a bell pepper, versus a cayenne, which you can see it's already gone through that stage. You can see here it's even splitting even more because cayennes love to split and be a little bushier. So I do not top our pepper plants, and I've had very good success. So I'll show habaneros in a bit, which will be a very different structure in some ways, much shorter. So I'll show those in the next story. All right, so here's some habaneros. And you can see the leaf structure is a little bit different. It's bigger leaves, much stouter, and actually this one is probably the best one I have right now, potted up so far. It's going a little yellow. I probably need to water it. You'll notice the soil is actually pretty dry, so I'll be bottom watering these today. But as you can tell, I'm starting to see some suckers here. Look really closely. So pinch these off. And see here, there's another one. So these get, when I transplant them into the bigger pots, they get put into the soil up to here, which means all of this area now becomes focused for root growth. And then on the top, don't need to do any topping or anything like that because I want this to be really focused on it, growing those strong roots, getting a really nice sturdy stem. And even at this stage, I could even prune off down here these leaves here, because you really only need the leaves that are going to be getting all of that, like the solar panels is what I call them, all of that light. So if the leaves are underneath the other leaves, you don't need them as much, and so you can concentrate that growth on getting a little bit bigger and sturdier. Here you go. So this, again, these aren't, they're a little slower. Any of the hops are going to be slower. The hotter you get, it seems like the slower the plant. So when you get to super hots, it goes even slower. We're not doing any this year, but we have done them many, many years. So these are, you can see, yeah, just different structure, and just always coming back and looking at these suckers and making sure that nothing's getting away from me, because I also want really good airflow for the peppers as well. And we do have an oscillating fan down here in our grow room. Here's some jalapenos, a couple different types. You can see here too, got to a point where it really wants to go to fruit, wants to produce those seeds. So just pick off that top bud and it's going to Y automatically. So another one, no need to top them and stress the plant out that way. I'd rather just keep the growth going. And you'll notice we dry these out so for peppers, so they are at a stage now where they need water and food.
Your destination is on the left.
So we're here at Rimmel picking up our high tunnel. It's a Gothic style 26 by 48. Jay's nodding. And so we rented a trailer. We definitely need to get a trailer of our own, but they got the first part loaded, and we'll see how this comes. I'm guessing it's going to be a mix of pallet maybe and some free loading type of situation. Is that the plastic or the shade cloth?
Yeah, this trailer right here.
So we're gonna drop the trailer quick here so that they can put the heater, which is over here, into the back of the truck. And then he's got the doors that are gonna go on the trailer.
We could probably lean it against the pallet.
Where is that? That's the plastic over there, right?
That's the poly, yeah.
And then the shade cloth?
That would be delivered to you.
Oh
so
yeah,
you can
okay.
carry that here.
Perfect. All right.
So your doors, your heater.
Yep.
Your two shutters are up there as well.
Yep. And the solar
everything-
panels delivered and the shade cloth is
Yep,
delivered.
that'll be delivered to you.
Okay. Perfect.
Well, you guys are all set?
Thank you.
Very much.
We made more progress today getting the 4 low, short 8-in-1s out. We still have this big guy left and 2 of the 9-in-1s out back there. They're slightly smaller than the 8-in-1 normal size here. And then this one here, we also have to move. So it's really just these 3 and then the super long 27-footer. There. The thought process right now is that this 27-footer we can actually just unscrew in half and then add ends, and we're gonna put half of it out here and half out there, so as you walk into our little tunnel, it'll be there. And then the big tunnel is gonna start at these bricks here and here and go straight back all the way back there, about, I don't know, 7-8 feet off the bank back there. It's like way back there. Because it's 48 feet long and 26 feet wide. So we will be using a new product that we're going to try this year to be a bit of a time saver, and also the mobility of it. We're going to use fiber dust grow bags, which are pre-filled with coco coir and we're getting the 3-foot long tubes so you can plant peppers and tomatoes and things in. And then we're also getting the 3-gallon bags. You just cut holes on the top and plant right into them. That's going to allow us to make sure that we're not doing anything permanent inside the large high Gothic style high tunnel this season until we actually get a good feel for how we'd want to have it set up. And then we'll put some raised beds inside there. As you can tell, this one is one of the beds that Jace moved. And so we are actually extending out to where the big boulders were here, because the tunnel is going to go right to this mulch line here. And so then we'll have this cattle panel tunnel. It was like our bean squash tunnel piece. This is getting extended out with pieces from some of the tall 8-in-1s we've already uninstalled. And we are not going to add more cattle panel to it, so it will actually allow a little bit more of a wider growth space than having the cattle panel in there. So Jace is going through and trying to make sure that we have it all set up nicely with these new additional panels. And I think that'll be a really nice look. The tunnel does end up blocking a little bit of shade, and with the cattle panel, so once it's full of beans, and so then we'll have a little bit of western block here also. So by not extending the tunnel all the way out, I think we'll be good. I'm guessing it's going to be about 25 feet long. I haven't measured it yet though. Before it was 17 feet long, and we've obviously added quite a bit of length here. We did try to save some of the compost, so you'll see there's compost there. And then on the tall beds where we had logs, we have that over here. So the remnants of the logs from the hugelkultur or the lasagna technique are all there. On the floor of the tunnel, we will be probably picking up all this mulch or with the tractor and putting hard pack down, and then using the black fabric as the floor. I'm planning on doing irrigation in the tunnel for all the grow bags, which will also be really, really helpful. So a little more progress, a little more blood, sweat, and tears coming into this, but I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Just going to be a ton of work to get this all moved over and also get planting pretty quick here. We are at the very end of March now. Our average last frost is somewhere in mid-May, but like last year we had a full deep freeze towards the end of May. So we'll see. We're supposed to get snow this week, so hopefully it won't last very long, and we'll be able to be back out here working again pretty quick.